Pete, if you're watching this, it gets pretty hot in Atlanta in mid-July, so get ready for that because you're going to be there.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, alongside Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you and all things Cubs. Thank you for being part of the show and making us your first listen today. And the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen or watch every day. NL Central Roundup, Cubs Phillies preview, and we start with PCA. Well, there's been a lot of buzz, a lot of chatter over the years about Pete Crow-Armstrong. We heard about the swagger, the personality, elite defense, excellent base running, and his offensive tools as well, albeit still a work in progress at the time of his arrival. And he's really made his way through the Cubs system quick. When you look back on the trade in July of 2021, in which that season he only played a few games because of shoulder surgery. Cup of coffee with the Cubs in 23. Last year, he played 123 games, hitting only 237, 286 on base. And this season, as might be symbolic of the Cubs themselves, is just different. Through 26 games, slash line of 294, 339, 549, 5 homers, 9 doubles, 10 stolen bases. Sam, we have heard for a while about the possibilities of PCA, his ceiling, what he could do. And it really has been fun to watch him do so well and be a big reason why the Cubs are 16-10.
You know, not only have we heard it, we've discussed it ourselves with our own eyes. You know,
yeah,
don't
I actually watched
us.
back to a show from August of 22 today.
Oh, how did that go?
It was good. We talked about PCA a little bit. We were still a little enamored with Brennan Davis at the time.
Anyway, I'm not surprised by this. Maybe the quickness of it. You know, it's still early. It's a hot streak. Like, if these are his numbers in a month, then we have to start seriously talking about maybe having a guy that is a true superstar in this league. I'm not there yet, but you know, it's very cool as a fan. It's very cool as a podcaster when you watch a kid like this go through his journey, go through his growing pains. I mean, remember him as you were speaking beautifully about his biography at the end of 23. I mean, he couldn't even take an at bat. And then in 24 was like, hey, PCA got a single. That's cool. All right. And then all of a sudden, second half last year, particularly August, it really started to take off. And it was like, whoa. When that happens for like a month, it's like, hey, that's in there. It's in there. It's in there now. Now it's not hearsay. It's in there. And now it's just a matter of how much can you do it consistently. And then the spring training stuff, which of course we've learned once again, the Gage Workman stuff, the Kyle Tucker stuff, how unimportant that really is. But he started to flash what he did in August in the spring. Then he got off to a bit of a slow start, but we talked about this on the show. There was only one homestand. It was the San Diego, Texas homestand where I thought he got himself in a little bit of a funk, you know?
Right. I remember.
But before that, it looked good. It looked fine to me. It didn't look like what was going on with Matt Shaw. And then everything turned in LA. That Sunday night game.
Yeah, good point.
And you know, Pete is an emotional guy. And I think that's part of this conversation. And when you're emotional and you take it real seriously, you don't care if your process is good and you aren't getting results. You start to get in your own head a little bit. And then once you see a couple balls go out like he did that night in Los Angeles a couple weeks ago, it starts to then it flips and you're like, okay, I'm good. His parents were in the stands. It was pretty cool, you know? And I don't think it's a coincidence that he's taken off from there. Weaknesses, we all know what they are. He doesn't have great pitch recognition. You know, he swings a lot, but as long as he's swinging at strikes, it's fine. And, you know, he's going to do some things like he did last night where he swings at a bad 2-0 pitch. It was a borderline pitch, not a pitch you want to swing at 2-0. I think it was a ball, and he still hit it into the basket because he's good enough to do that.
Wow.
I've seen some comps the last 48 hours to Javi, prime Javi, obviously, just because he's got the swagger, the great defense, and then the offense is kind of like tantalizing. But he's not. But I don't think he's as much of a free swinger, and the speed element's just a different element.
Animal, yeah.
So, and don't forget Javier Baez had a second MVP, number 2 MVP finish in 2018. So prime Javi's no slouch, but it's been great to watch. And I think Kyle Tucker. Don't forget the Cubs should extend him. They could do it right now during the NFL draft if they want.
Oh, great.
Kyle Tucker has been, I think, the headline, rightfully so. But the second one now is this young man.
Oh, by a lot too. And now I'm going to give you a very fun stat in a little bit. I would say he's refined. What you're saying, just to back that up, I would say I have seen him refine his approach, and just trying to double check with some numbers today. That's true, because he was swinging a lot, up until that LA game on that Sunday. Now he's not swinging as much. And just like you reminded us, a little bit ago, while he wasn't swinging outside the zone much, even when he was swinging a lot, that has lowered as well. And he had that scuffle pocket.
Yep.
And if you recall, when they won 16-0, his one hit was off a position player. And almost to the point of, like, again, not the Matt Shaw level, but okay, what's happening? And in the 9 games since, he's hit literally 472.
Right.
So quite a turning of the page since that Sunday on Sunday Night Baseball, which the Cubs will again be playing this weekend. We'll preview that next segment. But I love the way he's swinging it right now. Defense elite, makes it look easy. There was a ball Wednesday night. I don't know if Andrew Jones would have caught it.
Yeah.
Much less anybody in the current league. And he did. He went to his right, so albeit glove side, but he just got there in a hurry, and he made the catch off a rocket off of the Dodger bats. And the base running is really impressive. I think there's even another tick in there that I think he could get to.
Yeah.
I think maybe he's even being conservative right now, or the Cubs are. I don't know.
Yeah.
And of course, we've always loved his personality and swagger, which is not icing on the cake. I think it's a major storyline. It's part of his story. It's part of what he should lean into and be different. And part of the reason I think the Cubs could be really good this year is because everyone is themselves, whether that's more reserved or more, vulnerable, like
the Cubs need that.
is.
They need that.
And it's been good for the team.
They need that. They need that balance of personality.
Yeah.
You got a lot of guys that are, a little bit more reserved, like Hap and Tucker, Dansby and Nico. You need a guy like Pete.
Yeah.
And a great point on the base running. It feels like he's still more speed than base running, like good, more speed than good base runner right now. Right.
Yes.
Like, he's a great base runner because he's one of the fastest guys in the league, but I do think there's another level he could get to instinct wise and stuff. And look, like, you made a good point too. Like, in the last 9 games, this has all happened, which means in the next 9, it could go the other way. However, we know it's there. Like, it's there now. It's not a stretch to go, hey, deep down, I know that guy could be a real special offensive player someday. It's in there. Now it's just a matter of consistency and how often you could do it as the Bears take Colston Loveland, the tight end from Michigan.
Yeah, they took a guy that literally I've never heard of.
No. Hey, Ben Johnson gets the benefit of the doubt until we hear different.
He wasn't even the best tight end on the board.
Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, Pete Crow-Armstrong. But in all seriousness, this, like, there's so many reasons to watch the Cubs right now, okay? this kid is at the top of the list, and they really, really, really might have something special here. I mean, I've said it for a while on him. I said it for a while on Shaw. Hopefully that comes to fruition because, that's a different story right now, but it's early. But this kid I've said that the one thing I've said about him, when he talks, it just sounds like a star's talking. And that stuff, everybody can make fun of me. It matters to me.
And we do. Top 5 in WAR entering Thursday's action.
Nobody likes me.
Per Fangraphs. I like you. Aaron Judge, Corbin Carroll, Pete Crow-Armstrong, Fernando Tatis, and Kyle Tucker.
Well, Aaron Judge might hit 420, 425, 430.
2 of the best 5 players in the game right now.
What does Judge hit? About 418?
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Yeah. Coming up next, we preview Cubs Phillies. Today's episode is brought to you by Amazon Fire TV Stick. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe or sign in to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 as easily as you stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. With 4K streaming, watch more than 1 million movies and TV shows from your favorite subscribed services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, and more. Right now, I'm going from Netflix, some shows on there. Then I'm going to Disney Plus to watch Andor. Then I'm going to Marquee to watch the Cubs. Then I'm going back to Disney Plus to watch Andor. Then I'm going back to watch the Cubs on Marquee. It's that easy using your Amazon Fire TV Stick. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K, Fire TV Stick 4K Max, and Fire TV Cube. Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On. Cubs Phillies this weekend, beginning at 1:20 p.m. Central Friday. That's on Marquee and MLB Network. 3:05 Saturday, exclusively on Fox, and 6:10 Sunday, exclusively on ESPN. Ray and Walker, Brown, Luzardo, Tyone, Nola. Walker's been good for the Phils. Luzardo's been really good. Nola has struggled. We can get to that this segment if we want to. We'll see if the Cubs offense can get to 1 or 2 or all 3 of these guys. For the Cubs, they are 2-0 in Friday starter Colin Ray's first 2 outings in the steal spot. He's allowed just 2 runs in 13 2/3, only 1 walk. What? 12 strikeouts. Would like to see Brown be more efficient this weekend. And Tyone is seemingly reinventing himself every single start. So, Sam, another good opponent rolling into town here.
What a great preview. I
actually have a little more.
Carry on. Nobody.
Remember when
here.
Kyle Schwarber took like 25, 30 games to get going? Not this year.
He's having a big April.
Former Cub has 7 homers, 411 on base. And
what's the weather supposed to be like?
This is a team with name power. Schwarber, Harper, Turner, Castellanos, Boehm, Real Muto, even a guy like Bryson Stott hitting 298. And Sosa, Edmundo, hitting 438 in 32 at-bats.
It's a good team.
Yeah.
I don't like that they've lost. They're coming off a sweep.
They're only 13-12 right now.
Yeah, you know me with that. I do have an announcement to make. I am.
Oh gosh.
I am planning to do a watch along on Saturday.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah, I am. I don't have a
The
graphic.
Bears made a trade or something.
No, I wouldn't do that. This is a Cubs show. Okay. I do have an announcement to make. I am planning to do a watch along on Saturday. I'll tweet about it.
Oh, great.
I just hope I don't lose again. If they win on Friday, I just don't want to be that guy.
Right.
I mean, and let's be honest, Luzardo's throwing the ball great. So Saturday isn't a great matchup, but I can't do Friday and I can't do Sunday. So,
right.
Well, Well, I guess technically maybe on Sunday I could, right? It's an ESPN game. I could just feed that right into our program.
That's true.
Yeah, maybe I'll think about that. All right.
Okay, well.
This game is it's probably going to be Saturday if I do it.
All right. Shout out to Jake, who's made the great thumbnails for Sam's watch-alongs.
Yeah, and shout out to the people that messaged me and asked me to do them.
Yeah.
I really like that, Taijuan Walker is not an elite pitcher by any means, but Colin Ray is he's a fifth plushest starter. Cubs minus 130 on Friday. What does that tell you about how well this team's playing on FanDuel? If I were to tell you Colin Ray is a favorite against the Phillies, you know what I mean? I think that's pretty cool. Look, this is another tough series. It's another one where if you take 2 out of 3, you feel great. And for me, I know your first 41. For me, this is the bookmark for me. Like this is.
Oh, it is?
Well, in terms of just being done with this gauntlet. Like
interesting.
I have always looked at after the Phillies series before we go to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I have looked at that of like, hey, I'm not saying I'm going to look where we're at. I'm just saying like, that's a bookend for me. We just finished something huge.
Yeah, I think we actually might have originally had done that in spring training.
Because, Milwaukee's tough over the weekend and Pittsburgh, but like you are literally playing, the Padres, the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks, the Phillies. I mean, these are some of the top teams in all the land. And
the NL has the best teams.
Absolutely. Even though the Phillies don't have a great record, per se, it's still a very good group of players, as you mentioned. So another fun series, another tough series. I'm starting to have a little bit of a theory, and it's a working theory with no proof, that having this tough of a schedule early might be good for you. Because first of all, teams aren't full go yet. We know that. We've talked about that. But also it's kind of like it gives you a little motivation in April when normally you wouldn't. Normally you'd be like, all right, let's get going in June. Now it's like, hey, we're playing the Dodgers 7 times. It just gives you a little juice. Like the energy in the ballpark this week was unbelievable. It really was.
A lot of juice.
And I think that helps things. And I think this weekend will be no different. The Cubs are going to wear the baby blues on Friday. Excited to see how those pop off on the screen, because the last time they wore them, we were in attendance. And
that's right.
A lot of national exposure this week. I would expect a lot of Kyle Tucker talk this weekend, because you got a Fox game and an ESPN game. So, they're going to drop in.
Great call.
Rosenthal will come in at some point, and Buster Olney will come in.
Great call, man.
And you'll get those drops. So we'll probably have some information for that after Sunday night, 6:10. Another ESPN game, by the way. That's 2 already.
I know.
So yeah, man, I'm excited. Schwarber scares me. Harper scares me. It feels like Trey Turner always hits the ball well at Wrigley Field. He's gotten off to a slow start. But again, the Cubs catch a little bit of a break. You mentioned Nola's struggling. Luzardo's going to be the tough customer. Walker should be a guy the Cubs can handle. And you don't have to deal with Wheeler. Wheeler just threw in Queens on Wednesday. So, they've been getting kind of lucky with the pitcher stuff lately.
Yeah, and I would like us to continue to acknowledge the schedule for as much as it has been worth, followed by the record. Because, I think through 26, if they were 13-13, let's say, if we had to rewind the tape, we may have said something like that in spring training. And really, the opposite has happened. Not to say that any of us were saying they were going to get, waxed by this slate, but they really have proven what they could do, this early, at least to the extent that they can through the 26 games. And I get it. It's been 16% of the season or whatever it's been. Coincidentally or conveniently, the 41 game marker is exactly the quarter pole.
Right.
So, 2 weeks from Sunday, we'll see about that after the Mets series, but you're right. They're legit World Series contenders, through these 3 games that the Cubs have faced. outside of the A's, wherever they play, and 16-10 it's something.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tease this because we're gonna talk about the division next. I have some. I'm more into this stuff than you are, and to be honest with you, you're in the right position. I'm not, but I still have some news, off that point that I'd like to talk about. I'm gonna bring it up right after.
Is it win projections?
Close?
Can I go over the win projections?
Please.
Right now, Pacoda projects the Cubs at 94 wins.
Mm-hmm.
FanGraphs 86, FanDuel 90.5. Cubs are now minus 195 to win the division.
Yeah, so that was what I was gonna say, but I still have more on that. I have more on that. I'm gonna give people some perspective on that because it's very interesting. Who's 86? FanGraphs still at 86? That's low.
FanGraphs is conservative. They don't even have many teams over 90 wins. They only have the Dodgers and Mets over 90. So
how about the Mets start, by the way?
Crazy, yeah.
Soto hasn't even hit yet.
That's encouraging for them, isn't it? Kind of scary for the rest.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. I mean, because I didn't love their pitching staff. I really didn't love their pitching staff heading into the year, and they're just rolling along. I mean, Lindor, what a ball player. And Alonso's having, he's having one of the best months of his career. So
banner campaign so far. Let's go around the division next. Cubs 16-10, Brewers 13-13, Reds 12-13.
Hey, does that sound good?
Cardinals 10-15, Pirates 10-15, Brewers, Reds, Pirates all 5-5 in their last 10. Cubs 7-3. Cardinals recently lost 5 games in a row and are 3-7.
They're not good
in their last 10. All right, where do you want to start? Because then I have some star check-ins around the division.
Yeah. So I want to just put this in perspective. I think you might find this interesting too. I want to read you all the division odds on FanDuel right now.
Okay.
And then I want to read you the Cubs one. Okay.
Okay.
The Yankees are the favorites in the AL East at minus 130. Okay.
Small favorite.
Yeah. I mean, when you're a minus in a division, that's a pretty big, because like the second place team's plus 290.
Okay.
So I would say
bigger
like,
than I realized.
Yeah. AL Central, minus 110 for the Tigers. Guardians in second at plus 240. The Rangers, Texas is the favorite at plus 130. Houston behind them at plus 210. Okay. Mets, minus 145, which has really exploded the last week because they just swept Philly. And the Braves are off to a slow start. Philly in second at plus 260. And then the biggest favorite is the Dodgers, which has come down a lot at minus 410. It was minus 750 about a week ago. Padres in second place at plus 600. Do you know where our ball club sits now?
I believe it's minus 195.
Minus 195, as you just mentioned. Second place Milwaukee plus 370. The Cubs are far and away the second biggest divisional favorite in baseball right now. And I get it. It's April. It's going to go up and down. But that's, after everything that they've had to play through so far, that's pretty cool, pretty encouraging.
It is. It's nothing but encouraging right now. I don't know how else to put that, whether it's a win projection, whether it's a betting line, whether it's the strength of schedule they've experienced or the one remaining, which is very favorable, starting in a couple weeks, but really for the duration of the rest of the campaign. And then when you start checking in on the names that does put some fear into you on the opposition in the division, it's like, well, wait a second. The Cubs headliners aren't even close to this performance.
Yeah.
Ellie De La Cruz has struck out 35 times.
Yeah.
Jackson Chourio has a 265 on base.
Yep.
Christian Yelich is hitting 212. And then you go, oh, what about the top two pitchers, Matt? The Pirates and Reds are at least taking advantage of when Skeens and Green start, right? Wrong. They're 2 and 3 when those guys start.
Wow.
So what are we talking about here? And the Cardinals, congrats, Brendan Donovan. He's hitting 360, but they just lost 5 straight.
Is he actually at 360?
Yeah, 356.
That's worth a little bit more than a half-hearted congrats. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. And Sonny Gray's throwing well.
Well, I haven't really considered the Cardinals a serious.
Right. They're not really a formidable threat.
Yeah.
Could they be 500, a little bit above? I think
Maybe.
they could.
Maybe.
But the Cubs right now, they don't have that peppered in. They just don't.
No.
In fact, on the pitching side, they've sustained a Green and Skeens like loss.
They traded for a superstar. He's performing like a superstar.
Yeah.
They needed one of their young players to step up. He's stepping up. They lost a key player in Justin Steele, but margin guys like Colin Ray, knock on wood, and Carson Kelly have picked up the slack. Is there some unsustainable parts of this team? Yeah, I mean Carson Kelly is gonna continue to probably come down a bit in average, and Colin Ray could get hit tomorrow. But what they've done with their start to the season, because a lot of people continue to say, well, hey, they were 17-9 last year. They're 16-10. Why are you so excited? Well, I'll tell you why. Number one, I'll say it again. Just please extend Kyle Tucker, right? Number two, look at who they've played. Look at who they've gone through. And I get it. Technically, they took 4 out of 6 last year from the Dodgers as well. But it feels different. It looks different. And here's another huge point, okay? And I don't have this in front of me. I probably should have, but at this time last year, the Brewers were playing good baseball. From what I remember, right after about this time, from May on, the Brewers just cruised to the division, right? I mean, it wasn't.
That sounds right, yeah.
The Brewers the Brewers and Reds, they look like average teams. That's different. That's a big difference. That's who you're competing with. So when you combine the Cubs schedule, when you combine their division competition and combine the fact that they have a true superstar in their team, they've built themselves a little bit of insurance where if they do hit a little bit of a 5 out of 7, you just don't want it to happen in the division against Milwaukee. But if they do hit a 5 out of 7, a 4 out of 6, they should be able to make it up. Hey, can I tell you something real interesting? I was looking at the Cubs schedule today. So you know how you play every team now, and you alternate back and forth, home and home. So this year they're home against Texas. Next year they'll be at Texas. Mm-hmm. What I found interesting, and I would love to research this or someone that knows this, is that last year, if you remember, the Cubs just played the Sox 4 times, right? 2-2. Do you remember that?
Wait, this early?
No. Just in total. For the year.
Oh, in total, yeah. There was 2 in June, 2 in August.
Right. So they do that because it's technically a rival series or a special series, so they give you the extra game. This year, the Cubs have 2 3-game series against the White Sox. They play them 6 times instead of 4. So I thought about it and was like, so how does that work? And my guess is that the Cubs have so few 4-game series this year against NL non-central opponents. I think it's just the Diamondbacks and one other team. And so I think they took some of that away and just added it. That's a big advantage. Like, people could laugh all they want. 2 extra games against the White Sox because they're your home rival. That's huge.
Is it something that they have? They have a larger emphasis on AL Central this year, is like an interleague emphasis.
So, but I don't think so, because that's how it used to be. So
right, that's right.
Because you used to just play a division in interleague. So when the Cubs would play the Sox in the division, they would get the 2. Do you know what I mean? But this year you play everybody at least once. So I don't know why, but they have 6 games instead of 4, which I think is a massive advantage. That should be an auto 5-1.
And 3 are pretty soon.
Yeah, 3 are in mid-May.
Okay.
And then 3 are later on.
What I would like to challenge everyone on, including myself, is, of course, we can acknowledge and just resign ourselves to the fact that regression will happen offensively. But where I would like to lean into and challenge all of us is that the first 4 guys, Sam, and how they're doing now.
Yeah.
Happ, Tucker, Seiya, and Bush.
Yeah.
I do think it could be likely that those 4, just those 4, sustain their performance or close to it. And if that happens, we're not going to be even checking the standings much.
Well, if Bush ends up with an OPS in the 9s where he's at now, the division will be wrapped up by about Independence Day.
What if it's 850 plus even?
Yeah, that'd be something. I mean, no, seriously. And he's been great. So I'm not saying he can't do it. Any update? No updates on Seiya because off day, right?
Yeah, but I listened to I watched the council presser earlier today from Wednesday night, and he said he's day to day, and then he used the word unfortunately. So
are you so you don't expect to see him Friday?
I don't expect to see him Friday or Saturday. I think he plays Sunday.
Do you have any concern that you wake up, you're having a cup of coffee? By the way, shout out to your lovely wife. Happy birthday
Thank
to
you.
her. Yeah. Do you have any concern? You have a little coffee in your system. You and Kira are getting ready for work, and you get a notification that he's IL. Do you have any
mild concern? Yeah,
mild concern. Okay,
mild,
great.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great way to end the show. I'm gonna go have some chips and guac, and I'm gonna watch the rest of the draft.
Well, hey, we give honesty on this show.
Well, and I don't have any more ginger ale until Saturday.
You got to go shopping.
I got to go shopping.
Thank you so much for checking out this episode. We're here 5 episodes per week talking about all things Cubs. Check Sam on his watch along on
I got to figure that out.
Saturday.
Yeah.
And then we will be back Monday morning talking all things Cubs.
Saturday,
He's Sam,
probably.
Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.
Go Cubs.